Now then, two men from Cheddar are setting off to tackle the toughest race on Earth, as it's known. The Marathon des Sables, also known as the Sahara Marathon, is an ultra marathon. It covers 156 miles. It makes me feel sick just thinking of it. Not least the fact it takes place in the Sahara. Let's hear from postman Ian McLaughlin and paramedic Chris Hewitt, who are taking part in the marathon this weekend. Does it make you two feel sick when you start to think of actually what this thing is?
Good morning, Charlie. I think we've probably ticked so many of the boxes along the way of the last 18 months waiting for the event to happen with cancellations and postponements from COVID that I haven't had a chance to feel sick about it. I'm just looking forward to getting on and making a start.
Well, good for you. I'm pleased for you. What about the money that you're raising? Remind us why you're doing this.
The reason we're doing this is to try and raise funds and awareness, really, of an awesome charity called Hounds for Heroes. So I'm a paramedic and I work all over the southwest. And Ian is ex-military forces. So we're very aware of kind of colleagues who have become injured or incapacitated in some way. And Hounds for Heroes is a charity that trains rescue dogs and assistance dogs to help injured personnel recover kind of independence in their lives.
Great. Well, what a great cause. How much have you raised so far? Do you know, Chris, how much you've managed to raise and how can people get involved?
Oh, Ian, what's the latest total?
Chris, I have it on good authority that we're above the 4,000 mark now.
Wow.
And if folk are interested in getting involved and contributing, that would be absolutely wonderful. We've got a little website set up, www.postiesjourney.co.uk, and that has a direct access to our Just Giving page, which will enable folk wanting to contribute to participate.
Ian, just obviously you're a postman, so you do a fair bit of walking anyway, I should think, around Cheddar. When do you set off for this and training? How hard have you had to train for it?
Yes, very lucky that in my job I probably cover the equivalent of a half marathon a day just on foot.
Wow.
I've had to find time to tag a little bit of running onto the end of that, but on an average week, doing about 100 miles all in, walking, staggering and crawling. And that's been good preparation. And Chris and I are off to London this afternoon, overnight with family. And then tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we fly out from Gatwick, arrive in Morocco, and we're straight out into the desert and under canvas overnight. And they point us in the direction of the dunes on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. local time. And to the tunes of Highway to Hell, we were booted off into the Sahara.
Yeah, very, very appropriate. Chris, well, first of all, Ian, I'm guessing from your accent that Africa is not a continent that is unknown to you, I'm guessing. Is that right?
No, for my sins, I was made in the UK but born in South Africa.
Right.
Mum's a Londoner.
We don't need any more detail about that, Ian, I think.
Sorry.
Detail about the fact that you were made is bad enough. So very much the wrong end, though, of Africa, I would say, probably.
Yeah. Although it's
compared
still,
to where we're going.
I imagine it gets quite warm in South Africa, probably a bit warmer than it gets in Britain a lot of the time. Chris, are you worried about the temperatures that you might come up against?
Well, that's kind of one of the things we're have to prepare for the best we can. 45 degree to 50 degree during the day. However, at night it can fall down towards zero. So we have to make kind of lots of preparations to try and acclimatise for the heat, and also decide exactly how comfortable we want to be at night, because we carry all our equipment and food for the entire week on our backs. We're completely unsupported. The organisers basically just provide us with a ration of water each day. So we have to decide, do we take a luxury camp bed and a lovely thick sleeping bag, but have to carry all that extra weight for 156 miles back to civilization? Or do we just have the smallest, lightest, thinnest sleeping bag possible, be a little bit chilly at night, but be able to race further and faster during the day? So that's really important. Lots of decision making. At the moment, I'm I'm literally sitting in my living room, surrounded by boxes. I haven't packed yet. We're leaving in an hour or two. I need to make some decisions.
Get on with it.
I need to make some decisions quick.
Well, and Chris, just while we're with you there, you're a paramedic. You know a lot about how people need to look after their bodies. I should think this is going to take a serious toll, and not to mention the risks involved with things like dehydration, and if you're carrying all that weight in those temperatures, there's some serious problems you could come up against.
Yeah, I think for the last 22 years I've been a paramedic in the southwest, and I'm trying to think of the last time I went to a patient in Somerset with a poisonous snake bite, or has been stung by a deadly scorpion, attacked by an enormous camel spider. Though I have been to a couple of people with heat stroke and hypothermia. So I think if we can steer away from the dangerous animals and just deal with the environment, Ian and I should be okay. I'm fairly well prepared for that. Though I did say to Ian, I am prepared to suck out the venom if he gets bitten by a snake, depending upon where he actually gets bitten.
Yeah. The caveat to that one. Okay. And then, Ian, for you, it takes place over 6 days. Talk us through a bit of your packing. What are the more unusual things maybe that we wouldn't think of that you've packed?
Well, just a couple of things come to mind. We've had to pack a venom extraction pump, which is an unusual thing to be packed. And then I've had to pack something called butt butter, which is used to lather up the more sensitive portions of the body to prevent chafing and abrasions. And the name of the product gives away a brief as to where one would apply the stuff. But these are important things that you need to consider, especially when running in those sorts of temperatures.
Right, so you're covered in butt butter by the end of this race. Then, okay. Well, look, it just sounds completely horrible. Sounds like the last thing I would ever want to do in my entire life. So, look, I'm glad you're doing it rather than me. How long? I've said 156 hours. How long are you expecting it to take? Is it up to that point, or will you hopefully finish before then, Chris?
So the main portions, the main stages of the race happen over 6 days. We arrive each night at a bivouac. So no matter how quickly we run, we'll still get to the same place. Right. It just means, it depends how competitive it turns out we're going to be. So it's the same distance. We don't get out of the sun any quicker. We have to spend the first 6 days of the race, in the desert. And then just once we've finally crossed that final finish line on the 6th day, and we know our positions on the standing, and kind of the competition is over, the next day the organisers put on a fun run just to make us do an extra 10 kilometres, which is compulsory but doesn't affect our standings. No. So just to add insult to injury, it makes a 6-day 156 mile race an extra 6 miles longer. Oh
dear. That sounds horrible. The last thing anyone can put in front of run is the word fun, especially after you've just done a marathon like that, an ultra marathon. Well, look, best of luck to both of you. Chris, you need to crack on with your packing, because what you don't want to do is forget your butt butter or your venom extractor. So you get on with that.
Exactly. I realised yesterday I didn't have any sunglasses.
Come on! Got to get your sunglasses in for the Sahara. Look, if you run out of butt butter, I'm sure Ian will share his, so you can. Almost that unhygienic. Look, you two, great to chat. We'll hopefully catch up after you're back. Best of luck with it.
Thank you, Charlie. Bye-bye.
You, good to chat.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Ian McLaughlin there. He's a postman from Cheddar. Chris Hewitt's a paramedic from Cheddar. They're setting off to run the Marathon des Sables. That's the Sand Marathon. Otherwise known as the Crossing the Sahara Death Wish Marathon. I made that name up, but it may as well be. It's 9 o'clock. Charlie Taylor here. We're next for the next hour. We're going to be doing a bit of sound.